It's the 1970s in Japan. You're walking alone at night, and a woman wearing a surgical mask steps out of the shadows to ask a simple question: Am I beautiful? This is Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman. Deep in the 1980s, across the rural villages of Karnataka, India, a different terror emerged. The Nale Ba witch was known to knock on doors in the dead of night, calling out to men in the voices of their mothers or wives to lure them into the darkness. These stories span decades and continents, yet millions of people actively consume them. On YouTube alone, channels dedicated to these specific regional horrors have built massive global audiences. We are a species that searches for the very things that keep us awake at night. We seek out fictional monsters, even when the world outside is already dangerous enough. We do not fear the ghost, we fear the tension it holds. These legends survive because they are carefully constructed mirrors of our most immediate, unspoken societal anxieties. Take the legend of Munya. The horror begins when two teenagers drink on a beach and carelessly vandalize a sacred peepal tree, a direct violation of a long-standing cultural taboo. The consequence is immediate. A dark entity emerges from the branches and forces itself into the boy who defiled the tree, taking control of his body and mind. This same architecture appears in the modern Charlie Charlie game. Students in boarding schools gather in secret, mocking the rules of a seance to contact the dead for a thrill. Whether the setting is an ancient tree or a school desk, the outcome remains the same. The act of youthful rebellion is met with a sudden, debilitating psychological breakdown. These monsters function as cultural guardrails. They are engineered to scare a younger generation into respecting communal boundaries and honoring the spaces of the dead. Environmental shifts create new kinds of predators. In the 1970s, Japan's economic boom built vast, sprawling cities, leaving children to spend hours alone navigating the dense urban maze between school and home. Kuchisake Onna is a hunter adapted to this concrete world. She is the embodiment of the predator waiting in the one place a modern child is most vulnerable, the empty city alleyway. Compare that metropolis to the isolated, quiet streets of rural Karnataka in 1984. The Nale Ba witch does not haunt alleys. She comes directly to the front door. She exploits the vulnerability of men who are tempted to leave the protection of their homes to answer a familiar voice in the dark. When a society feels physically exposed or undergoes rapid change, its collective anxiety produces predators tailored to exploit those exact weaknesses. Some legends uncover a deeper layer of horror. Consider the haunting of Jimmy, a boy who finds a bangle near a dead body on the street and carelessly slips it into his pocket. Jimmy soon begins wearing his aunt's clothes, adopts the name Lakshmi, and ends up barricaded in his room, convulsing and screaming at invisible demons. The spirit possessing Jimmy is Joseph, a transgender woman who chose to live her truth as Lakshmi before her life was cut short. Lakshmi died at the hands of her own neighbors, executed for existing as she was, in a society that refused to accept her identity. The fictional possession is a shadow of the actual physical violence inflicted on marginalized groups by the powerful members of their own communities. The most terrifying hauntings are driven by collective guilt. These ghosts represent the sins of a prejudiced society that attempts to bury its victims in silence. This myth-making eventually became a field of study. Ad and Lorraine Warren institutionalized paranormal investigation, turning local whispers into a global framework of hauntings. We see it in the modern story of a pizza delivery boy trapped in an abandoned suburban home, forced to hide from the spirits of a murdered family who once lived there. These global stories share a rigid mechanical structure: a violation of a rule, the arrival of a supernatural threat, and a specific survival ritual. This is a psychological release valve. We struggle to process abstract trauma, so we organize chaos into a singular face. Vast fears like bigotry or random violence are given a name and beatable rules, so we feel we have a chance to survive them. We created these ghosts as survival tools. They are the fictional shields we use to